One of the biggest questions I get asked is how does this bike, a Rebel 500, handle daily riding? We're gonna answer that question together by hopping on the bike and going for a ride, but before that, let's roll the intro. Well, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to yet another video. If you're new here, I'm MMA Jafari and this is my 2023 Rebel 500. I have 7,000 miles on this bike. You heard it right, 7,000 miles. In fact, it's 7,015, I guess, I believe, because I've been riding it since yesterday. And today and yesterday, we've been gifted with a beautiful weather here in Northern Virginia. It's been either raining or snowing, or raining, or raining, or snowing, or it's been 15 to 14 degrees Fahrenheit. And all of a sudden, yesterday was 70s, today is 60s. And I wanted to take you guys on this ride because I miss riding this bike and I miss making videos for you guys. Let's hop on the bike and let's talk about if this bike is even a good daily rider. I've had this bike for the past almost 7 months now. I do want to make a 6-month review video. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section down below. Also want to make a video about the things I love and hate about this bike, so let me know in the comment section down below about that as well. I mentioned I have 7,000 miles on this bike. Let's make sure I am corrected. I have 7,025, 10 more miles than what I thought it actually had. And I only had this bike for almost 7 months. 7,000 miles in 7 months. It means I daily rode it for the majority of those miles, even though I did go for a few trips here and there and some joyrides to the mountains and back, but I qualify to tell you if this bike is a good daily rider or not. So let's start the bike and let's talk about it. For starters, maybe I should have talked about this factor when I was standing there, but it's not too late. This bike is pretty light. For a cruiser with 2 cylinders, it's only 420 to 30 pounds only. It's really easy to handle, especially if you're daily riding this motorcycle. It doesn't get out of your way. It's light enough for maneuvering, and it's light enough if you, let's say, dropped it, to pick it up by yourself. But I've been, knock on the wood, graced with the fact that I haven't dropped my bike myself. It did get dropped once by a friend of mine who I tried to teach, which I'll get to in a second as well. Let's turn these lights on and let's get going. So yes, as I mentioned, it's a pretty light bike and you can actually throw it around pretty easily. It's pretty maneuverable and good for an all-day, everyday kind of bike. It's not too heavy that you get on it and be like, oh my god, I can't actually handle this. Or it's not too light that if you go on a highway and you get thrown around by the wind. The next thing I'm going to pinpoint is the gas mileage. It gets anywhere between 45 to 50 miles per gallon, real world miles per gallon. The gas tank, which is a part of the cons, is fairly small, 2.9 gallons, but you get around 130 to 145 miles per tank. So if you're daily riding this thing to work or commute to work and back, it just do fine. Matter of fact, I usually take this bike to work and back, which is right here. This is my office, fun fact. And I could go to work and back for a week and also some shenanigans here and there when it was a little warmer, and just fill this bike up only once a week, which is pretty amazing. And because its gas tank is small, it doesn't cost a fortune to fill it up. I mentioned this in my previous video about if this bike is actually highwayable or not, and if you haven't watched it, it's going to be linked in the description or pop up in the banner right this way. Wow, it's green for us. And when you get to the highways, the gas mileage does improve a bit more. So you get up to 60 miles per gallon and up to 150 to 160 per tank. So the gas mileage is the upside for this very bike. And is it kind of cheesy if I say it's overall pretty fun? Because it sure is. You can commute to it to work and back, and also throw it around corners. It does corner pretty good, not gonna lie, which is a part of the performance and lightness of this bike. I can't believe how good Honda built this Rebel. Even though it's just a 500, it handles most of the things that I never thought it might handle, like cornering, highwaying, and all those stuff. So if you're looking for a bike that consumes a little less fuel when you ride it daily, this is a really good choice. So first, it's light. that the gas mileage is good. And the third thing that is really important if you want to daily ride a motorcycle is the fact that it's a Honda. It's reliable. I know every time that I want to ride this bike, it's going to be there. It's going to be ready to be started up and get going. Matter of fact, I didn't ride this motorcycle for 2.5, 3 weeks because of the weather situation. And yesterday, after almost 3 weeks of it's just sitting, I put the key in, primed it, and it started right up. Didn't even crank for like 3 times. It started right up. It being a Honda, carrying that Honda name is actually the fact that it's reliable. The maintenance is not gonna be an issue, a factor for you not to be able to daily ride it. And again, it's little and it's easy to ride every single day because how low the seat is. It's not too far off from the ground. If you are even 6 feet, 6'1" tall, you'll still be able to comfortably ride this bike. And if you're shorter than like 5'2", one of my friends is I think 5'2" or 5'3", and I've been teaching her how to ride on this very bike because how easy it is to get on and just ride, and she's able to actually flat foot this thing. And if it was some other bike, it wouldn't have been possible because the seat heights are so high. So that's another great factor about this motorcycle, that you can actually comfortably ride it every single day if you need to commute or go places. I'm sorry, I'm just enjoying this weather and enjoying this ride. It's been far so long, even though I know I have to do this video because it's been far so long as well. But that comfort brings me to some of the cons. For starters, the seat that comes on this motorcycle is not the most comfiest seat ever. If you're just riding for shy of 30 minutes, you should be fine. There's never gonna be any problems. But if you're planning to ride this motorcycle a little more than 30 minutes, let's say an hour, you might want to invest in a different type of seat or seat cushion, or get it reupholstered, because I mentioned it in my Hype video again, or the Mustang seat video that I posted. It looks amazing, don't get me wrong, but for longer rides, it is not comfortable at all. So that's one of the cons, that if you want to ride a little longer, you do want to invest in a new seat. And I talked about the gas mileage, and I talked about the size of the tank. How small it is a con for me, because I do want to ride it a little longer, but again, that's for longer rides. So if you commute like an hour and a half away, you should be fine. But if you are someone who travels for work, let's say 2 hours or 3 hours, and you have to ride or travel more than 150 miles, the size of the gas tank being small, you have to stop either way to fill it up, and that could be a problem for some people. But if you're just commuting to a place and back 10 miles to 20 miles a day, you should be able to ride this bike every single day and not worrying about putting some gas in it weekly, as I have been doing. The other complaint that I have, which is just me, nothing that crazy, this cluster right here, it doesn't show that much information that you need. For example, it does show your gas per mile, the average for a trip A and a trip B, as well as a constant average or constant miles per gallon. But it doesn't have options to see what is your remaining miles on your tank, and that could be a problem for some people, not being able to see your remaining mileage on your tank, or not being able to change your ride modes because it doesn't have any ride modes. If it rains on your commute to work and back, then you are left with yourself. You have to be a little bit more experienced to be able to actually ride this bike safely. Even though there is an ABS and non-ABS option, which I encourage you to go for an ABS option, even though it's a little bit more expensive. It does save you a ton of headache in the future. For example, I had to do an emergency stop the other day, and having an ABS motorcycle really helped. Maybe that's another positive thing about this motorcycle, having ABS, which helps a lot if you are trying to do a little emergency stop. But other than that, everything else on this motorcycle is pretty amazing. even though it's just a 500cc motor on it, it has the oomph. It gets up and goes. I sometimes find myself getting to the speed limit speeds without even knowing that I'm there, and I have to just let go of the accelerator and let it just calm down a little. But let's, for example, here we are fourth gear, 45 miles an hour. I'm downshift to third, and right there, 60 miles an hour. And it's pretty amazing for a 500cc motorcycle, and that's because how light this motorcycle is again. But it's pretty safe for you to daily drive it, because if you are in a situation that you gotta drop a gear and disappear, you have the little power between your legs basically, which doesn't sound right, to get out of a tricky situation. And that's really important for a 500cc bike with 26 horsepower to be able to basically get out of a sticky situation in an instant. Another thing that is really important is the ability to actually have a storage in this motorcycle. So let's say if you have to carry with yourself some other backpacks or some other accessories that you need to take, there's options to put saddle boxes, saddlebags, which I have, but I can't show you now because I'm riding. There are a lot of options for this motorcycle. It's been out for far too long, and this 2023 version is not shy of all the aftermarket accessories that has come out for the previous versions and all the Rebel 300 and 500s. So yeah, overall it's an amazing bike for daily riding, and I'm not regretting the decision of getting this motorcycle for my first bike as a daily rider, because it's delivering everything that I need. It is nimble, it is fast enough for me. I learned on this motorcycle, put so many hours on riding it, 7,000 miles to be exact, and I learned a lot to get out of the situations that I need to get. Also, I taught a lot on this bike to my friends, getting them into motorcycles, and my boy Fardo picked up his 1100 like 2 months after I got this bike, because he practiced on this bike, and I'm so proud of him for riding them 1100. Even he's daily riding his 1100, which I'm gonna make a video eventually, hopefully. It's been far so long, it's overdue basically, not right now at this point. I even taught some of my friends who are not into motorcycles at all. They rode this motorcycle for a few feet and they fell in love with motorcycles, which is amazing. It makes me proud. And on that topic, that you can actually, share this motorcycle with others, the fact that you can actually carry a passenger with this motorcycle is really important too. Sharing that experience of riding a motorcycle with someone else, either you want to call it backpack or someone you just take for a ride, it's amazing. This motorcycle showed herself to be pretty valuable and be pretty powerful enough to carry 2 passengers. So yeah, if you're thinking about having a passenger, if you're not, because there are a lot of options for second seats, there are a lot of options for CC bars, and there are a lot of options to go for comfier seats and comfier ways to ride this motorcycle with a passenger. I have no idea where I'm going, but I'm gonna make a left turn right here. I believe that's about it. I have no idea how long this video is gonna be, but I had to get on the bike and make a little video for you guys, because it's been, again, far so long and I have missed you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Also subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions about the Rebel 500 or anything that I put on this motorcycle, let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure to share this video with your friend or someone you know are thinking about buying a Rebel 500 but I'm not sure if you can actually daily ride it, or share this video, which I'm gonna talk about if it's good to take on highways or not. Maybe they don't want to daily ride it, they want to travel with it, so I have a video for that as well. Thank you guys for watching. Again, any questions about this motorcycle or any of the topics that I talked about, make sure to drop a comment below for me. As always stay amazing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. I'm gonna just tell you guys another fun fact. I did that project too. Anyway.